everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a mini Sephora haul video. I have been buying a few things over the last month on the Sephora website, and sometimes it's just easier to kind of throw them all into one video. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be super fun. So first up, we have the new palette from Christian Dior. This is the Mitzah palette, and yeah, I have a lot to say about this, so we're going to get into it. I also have two shades in the new blushes from Too Faced, along with the new Born This Way Ethereal Light Concealer. So I'm going to be playing with that. A new brow product from Benefit. This is the Fluff Up Brow Wax. And the new Charlotte Tilbury highlighters. I have two shades of her new formula. And then I'm also going to be showing you guys 3 new lip products that I picked up from Dior. 2 of them are from the new shades in the Dior Maximizing, whatever these are called, like Dior Lip Maximizers or whatever. And then this lipstick is from the Dior Mitzah collection. So that is what we're doing in today's video. So that's the list. That's what we're playing with in today's video. Let's keep the intro short and sweet. We're going to go ahead and jump into the application of all these products, and I will see you guys all in my final thoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to first start with this product from Benefit. This is called the Fluff Up Brow Wax. I was intrigued to try this because I absolutely love their brow gel. This is like my absolute holy grail. It's one of those products that I can never live without. I was actually introduced to this 24-hour brow setter from Mel. So long before she and I became friends, I watched a video of hers. Like, I was always in love with her brows, right? So I went up in the search bar, I put Mel Thompson brows, and a few videos popped up. And I remember watching her tutorial, knowing that she had so much hair to work with. Like, I don't have that much hair to work with. So of course I knew I could never get my brows to look like hers, but her brows looked so good that I wanted to use everything that she used in that video. So I went ahead and picked up the 24-hour brow setter. From that point, I've been absolutely in love with this. When I saw that Benefit launched this, I was very curious. I've used it a few times, so I kind of know how I feel about it. So this is what the wand looks like. Here is the deets on this. It's a clear, crunch-free, creamy, flexible wax that creates fluffy, full, and natural-looking brows and lasts for up to 12 hours. Deposits a thin layer of lightweight wax throughout the brows. The waterproof, sweat-proof, and humidity-proof formula is buildable with workable hold for versatile shaping before drying down clear with a natural matte finish. The end look is fluffy, feathered, texturized brows that last. So here's the thing about this. This has been my experience. This is a very soft hold. I wouldn't say that it's like the Brow Freeze from Anastasia. Like, once this dries, it really like sets them in place. And it's also not like the one from Patrick Ta. So Patrick Ta also has one that you kind of wet down and then run your spoolie through. This is, in my opinion, it's almost like a pomade for your hair. For me, it's been more of like a thickener. If you use too much, it can kind of get flaky into the brows. So you have to be careful with how much you're using. And sometimes if you don't wait for it to kind of fully dry and you go in with a pencil, the pencil won't work because this stuff is like interfering with the pencil adhering to the skin. So putting it on like this, and I kind of just use it to shape the brows and kind of like place it on the hairs. Here's the trick though. You have to go through the brow with a clean spoolie, because if you don't, that's when it will get flaky. I have not found this formula to kind of hold my brows into this position and like they stay that way. That's not the case. The trick is running a dry spoolie through it and then letting it dry. So this feels dry. I'm now going to go in with my pencil. And because this is a thickener, it kind of thickens up the brows to make them feel fuller and fluffier. It's just not going to hold them in place. Now I'm going to go in with the 24-hour brow setter and set them in place. Okay, brows are done. let's go ahead and move on to the eyes. So I went ahead and picked up this Dior Show 10 Colors palette. This is the Mitzah edition. And this is quite large. The pan sizes are quite big. Not what we're used to from Dior. It looks like there's some matte textures, some satin textures, and like the softest shimmer texture. Like these, I don't even dare call them shimmer, to be honest with you, because they're not super shimmery. They just have a very soft sheen to them. These shades right here, they look to be the more satin finish. These four look more matte. And then these two right here look to have a little bit of that highlight effect. So this palette retails for $130. It was very pricey. This is a limited edition couture case. Discover 10 creamy, comfortable Dior eyeshadows in matte and satin finishes to mix and match for long-wearing eyeshadow looks. So this has 18.3 grams worth of product, which is 0.65 ounces. So it's just a little bit over a half ounce. Now, speaking of Dior, recently I bought 2 shades of the new Lip Addict. So I have 19. So I can't find shade 19 on the Sephora website. I'll have to look it up on the Dior website. But I also bought shade 26, which is Intense Mauve. So that's the shade 26. And then this is the shade I love. This is shade 19. And it's kind of poppy. It's got that real pretty, you know, I love these kind of colors. And it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. So that's shade 19. So 19 is a shimmering peach. It's a bright red coral. So this is shade 19. Such a pretty shade. So this is shade 26. So there's 3 different categories. There's shiny, holographic, and glittery. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and play with this palette. Packaging, I would say, is not what I was thinking it was going to be. On the images, I think it looked, I don't know. I thought it was going to be different than this. I'm going to be honest with you. But let's go ahead and zoom in on this packaging. It kind of has this texture. I mean, the packaging isn't bad, you guys. It's not. It's just not really what I was expecting it to be completely honest with you. It's not really the design of it. It's the feel of it is what is weird. But I can tell you, though, with that said, this feels like it won't get dirty. So that may be the reason why it's kind of throwing me off as far as the luxurious look of it. But maybe they did it in this so that it won't get as dirty. I don't know. You know, it is an eyeshadow palette. So, I mean, but it is a very expensive eyeshadow palette at that, right? So, I don't know. I like the packaging, but I'm not like super in love with it, or it's a little bit different than I thought it was going to be in real life. So I'm going to go in with the Refer number 28 brush, and I'm going to go into this shade. I'm going in dry. I'm going to put it on my lid. I'm going to now go into this shade, and I'm going to bring that on the inner corner. Kind of blending that in, but also kind of using it as like a brightener here on this inner corner. I have this line across my cheek. Can you guys see that shadow? I slept on my right side, and I have this line, and it has not went away. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning and it's still there. I'm like, what is going on here? So crazy. Okay, I am going to go into this shade. It looks quite warm, but we'll see what it looks like. I'm gonna bring that. Yeah, I just don't think that color looks good with that pink. Like, I went right in and I was like, it's like orange with pink, and I don't really love that. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that out. Maybe go in with this shade. Yeah, that's better. These are extremely pigmented, but pretty blendable as well. So just go in with a really, really light hand when using this, because it is extremely pigmented. I'm going to take a small brush and go into the shade, maybe picking up a little bit of that one as well. and just kind of keeping it close to the lash line and then kind of like connecting it to the crease. Okay, I'm gonna take a blender brush and I'm gonna go into this shade and a little bit of this shade. And I'm gonna sweep that into the crease and kind of using those to kind of blend those shades out. It's like you only have all shades of pink to play with. It's like there's really not enough variation in this palette. I could see myself using this palette in conjunction with others. It's like you have kind of a monochromatic option here. I'm struggling, but I'm gonna take a flat brush and go into this color. And I'm just gonna like stick it right here at the lash base. I'm gonna go back to these three, kind of mixing them and just kind of sharpen up this, just kind of deepening up that brow bone. All right, I'm gonna go back into this shade and this shade and blend those into the crease to kind of blend it all out. The nice thing is that they blend beautifully. So I'm not having any issues with it getting patchy or anything, which is, you know, that's a struggle with pinks. Sometimes it's been my experience that pink can get patchy, but these are great. So I'm gonna kind of clean up this outer corner. Now we're gonna move on to concealer. So I bought this, but I think this might be too light or too dark. Yeah, I think it's a little too dark. This is new from Too Faced. So this is called the Born This Way Ethereal Light Illuminating Smoothing Concealer. I bought it in Biscotti, and I think it might be too dark. It doesn't really give me that brightening effect that I kind of like a little bit. Like, I don't like it too light, but I'm gonna use it as concealer. By the way, this is Biscotti. It's kind of my skin tone. Doesn't really have, you know, much lightness to it, but I'm going to put a little bit of it here. Now, this is claiming to be, like I saw on the package, that it's claiming to be like waterproof and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so I think it's just the shade. The shade's kind of throwing me off because it's kind of the same shade as my foundation. So I might have to buy a lighter shade in that to really give it a thorough test. But you can see it adds quite a bit of shine to the skin. I would say it's a light medium coverage. I would not call this a full medium. You might be able to build it to a full, but I wouldn't call it a full medium. Let's go back to the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna move on to the lower lash line. I think I'm gonna grab all three of these shades. And these shades are hard to not give you a pink eye. You know what I mean? I need to blend out this line. So I'm just gonna go in and kind of buff it out. I'm gonna take a flat definer and I'm gonna go into this shade, but these mattes are so good. Like, I have mixed feelings on it because I am struggling personally to kind of create a look that I'm happy with because of the color story, but the formula is fantastic. But the formula is phenomenal. Let's go ahead and get into the new blushes that I picked up. I'm so excited about them. And these are from Too Faced. They are called the Cloud Crush Blurring Blush. So these new blushes come in 6 different colors and they retail for $29 each. So I have 2 shades and 2 different formulas. So this is the Golden Hour, which is a diffused satin. This is the packaging, typical for Too Faced. And it has a little bit of a sheen to it when you blend it out. And then I also picked up the shade Velvet Crush, which is a diffused matte formula. You can kind of see the difference. So this is the satin and this is the matte. The satin has a little bit of a sheen to it, but the matte also has a nice sheen. It doesn't have the iridescence that the satin does, but it does have a nice finish. So we're going to put them on. I'm excited. So I'm going to first go into Cloud Crush, which is the matte. That is a beautiful blush. Very buildable, and it kind of reminds me of the Gucci blushes, the way that it's applying. And as many of you guys know, I absolutely love the Gucci blushes. I am kind of obsessed with them. It kind of feels the same as I'm applying it. Let me feel them and see if they feel the same. They do have the same texture. So I'm going to wipe the brush off, and I'm going to go into Golden Hour. This one looks to be much more pigmented, so I'm going to go in lightly. Oh, that's pretty. These are pretty blushes, you guys. This color, which is the Cloud Crush, right? The brighter one, the one with the satin finish. This one is much more pigmented, but it could be the shade. But they apply very smooth on the skin. I quite like these formulas. These are pretty. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next product. So these are from Charlotte Tilbury. So these are called the Glow Guide Face Architect Highlighters. So I bought two shades. I have Champagne Glow and Gilded Glow. These retail for $48 each, and they also come in 6 shades. So this one is Gilded Glow. I wasn't planning on picking these up only because I'm not really wearing highlighter as much these days. If I do, I'm wearing more of a softer highlight. I have to tell you, I really like these packaging, like having it snug into this box. So this one is Champagne Glow. I feel like that one's gonna fall out, but do they all rattle? Oh, I guess they do because they're refillable. Okay, I'm good. I was afraid they were gonna be broken. Okay. So I wasn't planning on picking these up because I haven't really been into highlighters recently. I'm only wearing like a little bit of highlighter if I wear it at all. So I've heard so many people saying that these are like the prettiest highlighters. I see them all over social media, and it's just kind of piqued my interest. So I went ahead and picked them up. So this is Champagne and this is Gilded Glow. I'm gonna put the Gilded Glow, this more golden one, up here on the forehead because I think it might just be like more my complexion, like really pretty. Okay, then I'm gonna put Champagne Glow on the high points of the face. Ooh, these are pretty. Okay, so these are really beautiful. I thought these were going to be like this, which is the Superstar Glow highlighter, but this one is a little bit more chunky. You can see it has more of a, like, when I rub my finger in it, you can see it has so much pickup, right? Like it's got a chunk to it. It's more powdery. These are not that way. These are powdery, but they're completely different. So this is the new one, and this is that Superstar Glow. So the Superstar Glow has more of a chunk. This one is just much more, I wouldn't say it's a, I wouldn't call it like a gelée formula. I don't know. It's a beautiful texture though. It really is. Is it something that we don't already have? Not necessarily, but not more of a powdery texture than something like this. So this is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude, which is really natural and I quite like it, but these have more of a powdery texture to them. That's the difference. So this is the new one from Charlotte. This is the I Need a Nude from Natasha. It's got that highlight effect, but when you start blending it out, it's really soft. It's really pretty. Is it something that we don't already have? No. Do I feel like it's a good formula? Absolutely. So I don't think it's a revolutionary formula that's like, wow, like we don't have anything like this. I have a lot of thoughts about these. I'll definitely get more into that in my final thoughts. We're going to move on to the last product that I picked up. So this is from Dior. This was launched with the Mitzah collection. So this is in the shade 253 Rose Feline, and it's a satin formula. This is the shade. It's a light pink, kind of something similar to what I have on my lid. That's the shade. I wore it a couple days ago with an eyeliner, with an eyeliner. I wore it a couple days ago with a lip liner and it was stunning. I'm going to put it on without anything, just putting it on my lips. I mean, I still think I had the gloss on. Let me wipe the gloss off here. That's the color, and it's really light, but because it has more of that satin finish to it, it's not super pigmented, right? So it's not like a traditional lipstick. Let me show you what the actual bullet looks like though. That's what the bullet looks like. So it has Dior written on the bullet. I would say it's just really natural, and it has that pretty shine. It's really comfortable, and it's quite light and sheer. So, you kind of know that going into it, that it's not pigmented like a traditional lipstick is, right? So I took this lip liner from House of Sillage. This is in the shade Envious Nude, and it's gorgeous. It has kind of a purpley tone to it. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with it. And they also have a little brush here on the tip, and they're good lip liners. Again, they're nothing that we don't already have, but they're good lip liners. And then I just took this shade and put it on like the center. And you could truly pair this with any lip liner. I just chose to pair it with the one from House of Sillage, but this shade would go so pretty with any lip liner. Let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts. I'm going to first start with the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. I think I pretty much gave you guys my advice on this brow product. Just to kind of summarize, don't expect it to hold your brows like some of the others out there. For example, the Anastasia Brow Freeze, the one from Patrick Ta. This is a little bit softer, and I like it because it does work really well in conjunction with the 24-hour brow setter. But if you're needing your brows to stay locked and loaded, this isn't going to hold it on its own. But I do like it because it does kind of define the brows before I go in with a pencil. So I think if you know what it is going into it, you might like it, or it just might not be a product for you, right? So hopefully that information is helpful. All right. Wow, do I have a lot to say about this palette, you guys, and I hope my battery doesn't die. This palette is good and bad. So if you love these tones, you'll probably really love this palette because the formula is really nice. It doesn't have, really shimmery, glittery type of products in it, right? It's a very soft palette as far as that goes. It's not really an intense palette. However, the formula is phenomenal. Some of these strong pink tones, not always the easiest to blend if the formula isn't right. So this has the right formula because it blends so buttery and so beautifully. Even though some of these shades are quite dark, they blend beautifully, but they're very pigmented. So I would just go in with a really light hand. On the flip side, you have to absolutely love these tones to get your money's worth out of this. It's a very expensive palette. It is limited edition. I would say this is definitely, like, the quality is there, but you just have to love these tones. And for me, I struggled with this palette. The tones are hard. They are. And I think the only time I will use this palette is in conjunction with other palettes. The pans are huge. If I was going to design this palette the way I would have wanted it, I don't mind the size of it, but I would have preferred smaller pan sizes and more shade options because these shade options are kind of hard to create a look for me personally. These tones are hard. Okay, so my battery did end up dying. Okay, let me get back to my thoughts here. This is just a really hard color story to make work all on its own. Do I regret buying it? I do. I do regret buying it. Is it kind of fun to have as a limited edition in my collection? Yeah, but it's quite expensive for that. It is. So if I had to do it over again, I don't think I would buy this palette, only because I'm just not going to get that much use out of it. I will mention though, I think these textures are so soft that you could use them as blush. So you could definitely have that more monochromatic look if you wanted to use these as blush, because they're so soft in texture that I can see these just going onto the skin beautifully. They are that type of formula. But overall, I definitely regret it because, wow, it's a hard palette to work with. Overall, I think as long as you are good with the color story, you'll like it. But if you're like me, it's not worth it. That at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Let's talk about the concealer. I think I might like this concealer. I need to buy a lighter shade in this to fully give it a good try. But it does have an illumination to it, but it sets down. So a lot of the times when you have those concealers that have that illuminating property, they are dewy. This is not dewy, but it has that illumination to it, right? So I could see myself probably liking this concealer. So I might order it in a lighter shade and just maybe use this to spot conceal, but I would say it's more of a light medium coverage. I can't see this being a concealer that's going to do a good job covering dark circles and stuff, so kind of take note of that, but I need to get it in a different shade to fully know how I feel about it. The blushes, I love these blushes. If you have been wanting to buy the Gucci blushes, but you don't want to spend the money on them, and you're in the market for a new blush, these are fantastic. These blushes are so beautiful. The textures of these, like they're so buttery. And oh, I love this kind of blush formula though, where it's really buttery and buildable and I have control. I don't really like a super powdery blush because I'm so heavy-handed with blush that I can lose control very quickly with a super powdery formula, but these are so gorgeous. Like Too Faced did a good job on these. These are great. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with those blushes. Now the highlighters from Charlotte Tilbury, they're absolutely beautiful. And I kind of kept looking in the mirror as I was like, you know, you can see I have a little texture spot right here, and I wouldn't say it's like fully emphasizing, but it is because it's a highlighter. That line that's down my face, now it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I still have that line. I don't know when it's going to go away, but do what I say that it's going to completely emphasize? No, it probably does a better job not emphasizing versus some of the others based on the formula and the texture. It is a beautiful highlighter and I kind of understand the hype behind it. Did I need it in my collection? No, because I have so many highlighters that, wow. And my dog's playing with the squeaky toy. If you can hear that, I apologize. But did I need it? No, because I have so many highlighters. And so I guess you have to decide if you really need it. Maybe use up some of the highlighters that you have and then the next purchase that you do, maybe grab one of these. You know what I mean? Lip products. I love the shades that I picked up in these Dior Lip Maximizers or whatever they're called. Absolutely love these Dior Addicts. These are gorgeous. This lipstick, like I said, you'll either love it or you won't. If you like something that's super pigmented, this is not the one for you. But if you like something that feels like a lipstick, but it's a little more sheer, you'll love it. Kind of reminds me of the ones from Merit. These signature lips from Merit Beauty. Mine kind of broke on me, so I have to be careful. That's what it reminds me of. So it's sheer, but it's a lipstick. And I actually really, really love this formula from Merit. So that's, you know, and this is and these are much more expensive than the ones from Merit, by the way. But I would say that that's what it reminds me of. So if you like the signature lip from Merit, then you'll like this. So before I go, I was just done filming and I decided to turn back on the camera because this just arrived. So I just received this PR package from Beautylish. These are called the new Kayaki, Ninja, and Buffer. These are the new brushes from Sonia G. I am so excited. Yay! I'm so excited. I love a new Sonia G brush. Obviously, I'm not going to be using them in today's video because I need to wash them. I just got them. But this is the Buffer. Oh, I can see this is going to be a good brush. This is the buffer. Look how good this brush is right here. And come on, camera, keep focusing on them. There we go. Look at that. This is a good brush. I just need to wash it. Look at this. Look at how it splays. And you can see, like if I do it like this, it's got good stiffness to it. Oh, this is going to be a good brush. Okay. And then we have the Nishi. This is the Nishi Pro. And this is the new one. So they're about the same size, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited. Thank you, Beautylish and Sonia G, for sending them over. I can't wait to wash them and play with them. I am actually going to be filming a get ready with me type of video this week and kind of just chit chat. I will use those brushes in that video. So that's it for the video. Sound off down below how many of you guys have used any of the products that I discussed in today's video, especially the Dior palette. I'm so curious. If you guys have the Dior palette, let us know in the comment section down below your experience. Do you love it, or did you have the same experience I did and you just felt completely lost in it? I'm so curious. So definitely shout out down below if you guys have tried any of the products in today's video and share with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.